everybody. Today I am making some colored UV resin. I have 10 of these. I'm going to try to line them up so that they each have a bottle next to them. And yes, these are black bottles from Temu. You'll have seen them in my hauls. And I do want to make my own because I kind of sort of, that one looks a little dirty. Can't tell if that's in there. Yes, it's in there. Okay, so I'll just grab a different one. Shouldn't be dirty, but I have done a lot of moving of my things around, so. Goodness. Try not to squish those together, right? So, anyway, I do it because, number one, colored resin is extremely expensive, for the most part, if you want a decent amount. And I prefer a decent amount of something if I'm going to do it, or use it. And so what I'm doing here right now is setting things up so that I could get to the colors a little bit better, or to each of these for stirring. And these little sticks I'm using right here, those are regular coffee stirring sticks. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, oh, that one doesn't have one. Okay. So I'm going to do the first row first. And this one here had a little bit of UV resin in it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try squeezing and make sure that it's all completely out, and it seems to be. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh, well, duh. Sorry. I have these on the wrong way, I think. Well, it's here somewhere. Trying to see when you can't see sometimes is, oh, okay, I was doing it the right way the first time around. Just didn't do it that way. Okay, now I'll be back with the colors I'm choosing in a moment. Okay, I've got my inks. They are HTV Runt inks, alcohol inks. And when you use alcohol inks, you must absolutely shake each bottle very well. You can't always get away with alcohol inks in UV resin as long as, excuse me, goodness, as long as you allow the alcohol ink to dissipate the alcohol, for it to evaporate. So the best way of doing it is to shake your bottle really, really, really well. And before I do that, though, I have labels I created for each and every single one of these. And I will be labeling the bottle before I put the ink in the cup. And yes, you want to put the ink in the cup first. It's always best to do that and give it time for the alcohol to go bye-bye. And then you can add your UV resin. So I'm going to demonstrate it, I guess, with, let's go with the deep white and get that done. And I'll put it on this bottle right here. I've already taken all lids and the silicone caps off of these bottles for quicker working time. And yes, do only one at a time. Now the one I'm using is called Deeper White. I will say that I have only one that is not the HTV Runt. It is from Temu. It has no real brand. It's got something that says on there, and I'll show it to the camera as well as I can. Maybe you can blow it up and see it, but it's the only red I have that looks like red instead of pink. So that's the only one that I will not be using alcohol ink in. At least not the HTV Runt. They're not supposed to be alcohol inks, these here. They're supposed to be just inks, resin inks, but I have found that not everything is as it's supposed to be. Now, you don't want these very opaque at all. You want them as translucent as you can get, but still with enough color. And I am making 30 mil of each. So I've got as much white as I dare to put in there. I will give it a couple minutes to dissipate, and since I've already got the deep white in the bottle, I'll show you this bottle. It's called Fast Cure brand, and it came from Temu. Looks strikingly similar to Let's Resin UV resin bottles. And this is a 500 milligram, or 500 gram bottle, excuse me. Excuse the frog. Bubble free, it says, non-shrinkage, low odor, crystal clear. And then it gives the curing times and method. and says must be used with clear molds because non-clear molds, you don't get the curing that you need to get. Even if you were to sit it out 12 hours a day in the sunlight or spend hours trying to cure it with a UV light. All right, that should have enough dissipation now, and I don't want the ink to dry. So now I get my gloves on. I do have baby wipes sitting to the left of me and napkins for cleanups, because with these small little bottles, they have extremely small openings. I will not be using a funnel with them because you waste resin doing that, and it takes 1,000 years for it to drain. Okay, almost got these gloves on. Now, some of my alcohol inks may not be open yet, so that will take a process. And as usual, the cap piece comes off for some reason. I don't worry about that because this cap won't be going back on. Instead, it will be this cap. However, I will be pouring from the bottle itself. And yes, there was some leakage up here on the top. Let's see if I can grab a hold of this little tab and get it to come up. We'll just grab a pair of tweezers to try to get that. I don't really like these tweezers. They're very flimsy. Oh my goodness. Let's see if I've got it up enough to just grab it. Oh, I think I got it started. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're not going to bother getting gentle about this. I'm going to take the tweezers, pop it into the lid as such, turn it back over, stick those back in, and lift. Okay, I got it for the most part. Now maybe I can grab enough of that to pull it off. Nothing comes with ease these days, but it is a chemical, so. Okay, we got that off. Now I'll just grab a baby wipe and clean my gloves so I'm not spreading UV resin everywhere. These are not fan folded together like a lot of wipes are. And sometimes they're a pain in the rear to get separated. But cost-wise, they are the lowest cost I could find. Now remember, the darker the color, the less you use so that you keep its opacity. Or its translucency, sorry. Alright, so 30 mil is quite full on here, so I might just go to 27 mil. And I don't know how many mils to grams, etc. Okay. There we go. And yes, I do not have one window uncovered, uncovered in my room. So there's no UV light getting in here. Now if you find that it's not as translucent as you want it to be, you would have to add more of the UV resin. But if you find that it's not as dark as what you need and still very translucent, you can add just a little bit more ink. And yes, this color is just barely there. And that is the purpose of layering your UV resin, where you put a small amount down and then cure that, put another small amount down and build the layers. And that one is where it needs to be. Still translucent enough to cure, has a little bit of white, and it will be able to be layered really well. Alright, so now that it's as mixed as I can get it mixed, I will not yet throw this stick away. I may not even throw them away, I may just cure them. And then you get this up. Now I'm probably going to make a mess. Oops, and I just said I was going to do it and did it. But you hold it just slightly close enough at first, and then raise it a little bit. It's always better to have the bottle in control so that hand-eye coordination. You pour as much as you can. You let it drain slowly so that you're not pulling the UV resin off the sides and it comes down in the wrong areas. Then, if you want, you can use your mixing stick to pull up some more and dump it down in there. Always scrape it, and of course remember to wipe everything when you get done. Now these 30 ml cups, measuring cups, they are wonderful. They do not have ridges in them. All they have are the markings for the measurements. And so they have a flat bottom as well, so that you can get a lot more of your resin out of it. All right, that's my white. Done and done. So let me do the cleanup job first. So what we're doing is clean the stick. I'll go ahead and clean them for now. Or at least this one, I will. But that's all you do, just a baby wipe. And clean them really well. Careful not to squeeze too much of that liquid out because it's already carrying the UV resin. And then you just want to stick it onto a mat or a napkin. Okay, this has got to drip down the side. And I'm going to catch that with this. And now I've got to get the drip that went on the side of this one here. It didn't drain down the side, so I'm very happy with that. Because this stuff is really, really sticky. And you have to use alcohol for the most part to clean it off. And alcohol sometimes, see, there's a problem with using UV resin. First of all, you have to use a UV lamp or light of some sort. UV is harmful to your skin. So if you're going to be doing UV resin, please use gloves. You may not think it's harming you in any way, but you sit there and you think about when this UV resin itself touches you. If it touches you, you may forget it's on you, and if you haven't cleaned it off, and you're doing a UV project, and you're putting your hands into that UV light, what you're doing is you're curing a little bit of this onto your skin every single time. So you have to be very careful with it. It's just as bad as epoxy resin in that fact. And then, of course, wipe all wetness off of there as much as you can. And then, of course, immediately cap it. Or put the lid on, I should say. Whoops, almost forgot the one step. When I say cap it, that's because I was supposed to put this cap on first. And it goes on like this and down around the neck. And then the lid goes on top of that. Screw it down really well. And then you cap it. All right, that's number one out of the way. I'm not going to do all of them on camera because of time, and you've already seen the process now. However, I do want to show you the process for a darker resin or ink, which is the black. So I'm going to set that down for a moment. I'm going to grab the label for black, and I will put it on the bottle. Now, I'm not in a big hurry to clean the cups themselves, because unless you have a UV light, it won't cure in there, and it's going to leave it easier to clean out. All right, that is on there. So we're going to shake up the black real fast. I hope I'm not shaking the camera too badly. My floors just aren't exactly solid, so make sure you look at the bottom, because your pigments settle to the bottom. And when they get older, they'll settle and stay there really hard, but you just keep shaking at it and shake it in different ways. All right, so, oops, and then of course this one was shaking into the cap. 1, 2. That should be absolutely plenty for 27 ml. Okay, let's get that cleaned off so I'm not spreading ink. That means the hole I made in it was a little too large. I'll set that towards the back so I know I've already done it. And yes, these inks stain really well. All right, got my black. Let's get the resin poured into it. 27, so I have to turn it to that section and begin pouring. Try to go as fast as I can, but I gotta slow down when I get close because my eyes aren't that great. All right, that's the 27. Let's set that back out of my way so I don't accidentally knock it over, and then begin stirring. Now, I didn't let this alcohol dissipate too much for the simple fact that I forgot. But if you leave this sit out before you put it in the bottle, it'll still dissipate. Now, can you see how black that it actually is? It's still translucent. And as I said, the darker colors, you are going to definitely need to layer them so that they cure properly. All right, just making sure it's thoroughly mixed. And it is. You don't want to scrape too much of that ink off the stick. And then that stick gets thrown away because that black spreads like crazy. Now I will let that sit for a minute and then put it in the bottle. And then I'm going to put you on pause, since you now see that there's a certain amount of opacity you're allowed, but you can't go over that. All right, I'm going to put you on pause, and I'll be back when these are all done. All right, they're all finally mixed. Now these are the colors I used. Green. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to show you the green as I'm going to show you each color as I name them off. So this is green, and this is what it came out to be like. Now remember, it gets darker the more you add on top, the more you layer. So there's the green. I know these colors won't show up too well on a white background, but right now that's the best I can do. Let me see. Here's the yellow, and this is the yellow I used. And yes, it is a very good yellow, and it's a very pigmented yellow, because if you can see the yellow in that fingernail right there, that's from the last time I opened up that yellow. Okay, so we're going to put yellow here. I'm going to set these to the back as I go. All right, next one. Let's go, of course, with the black, which is down here. And this is the black I used. I do have a metallic black, but I didn't want to do that one because I can get metallic out of mica powders or pearlescent look even. Now, as you can tell, the more you add, the blacker it gets. Doesn't look all that black right now because it's on a white background. Okay. This one is golden, and this color is already separated again. But this is the golden. No, you can't tell much, but at least it doesn't dissipate like that in the resin. You won't be able to tell, though, because it is a metallic. And yes, you can use metallic ink, just not very much. Then I'm going to go with the red, which this is the red I used. Set that to the back. We'll show you the red. And it looks pink on the white. There's nothing I can do about that. Then this one here is sky blue. I was going to add sapphire blue, but decided against it because the sapphire blue that I have is so much more purple than you would believe. So yes, I only went with the sky blue. Now as these are sinking into the napkin, you will be able to tell more. Oops. Good thing that thing's capped, although I don't trust that blue. As you can see, for some reason it just leaks. Alright, I'm going to go with the silver next. And this is the silver I used. Very silvery. Yes, it is a metallic. So we'll just put that down here with the gold. And I will be testing these out in a mold. And then I have the deeper white. Of course, you won't be able to see it on here. But I'll put it on here anyway. We'll put it next to the yellow and beside the blue. You can see it partly because it is not as white as the napkin. Then I'm going to show you, it's called Brick Red Gold. And this is its color. It's actually a copper. And it is a very pretty color. So we're going to put that down here. Oh, for Pete's sake, come on. My hands are not that bad today. Oh, well. That might be the cap I had the resin in. Great possibility. So I'll have to find something to poke down into that itty bitty little hole. So we'll go with the purple. This is the purple resin. And I had to make it up from this purple, which looked so pinky to me that I just didn't like it, and this bluish violet. So I put, I believe it was 2 drops of this in and 1 drop of this. So we'll see how that one turns out. Let's see how it looks next to the red there. Very pretty purple. Still looks pink on that white though, doesn't it? So we'll see how it looks with a project. Let me see. I can go ahead and pull another cap out and lid, because I don't think I have anything that's that tiny to go down in there. However, what I can do to show it to you right now is open it up. Nope, that's not going to fit down in there, but so I should have some in the cap right now. And it's got kind of a, oh, I don't know how to say it. It's metallic as well. And I will add some of this to my mold from out of the bottle itself instead of trying to squeeze it out of here right now. All right, let's get this out of the way. And yes, I threw that in the trash. And we'll go ahead and clean this off real fast. I'm sorry, everybody. I got the hiccups again. I try very hard not to have them, but they like me. All right, I have this little cat mold here. Different little varieties of cat poses. And so what I'm going to do is, we want sort of contrasting colors a little bit so that we can see. And I have 10, there are 4, so 3 in 2 of them and 2 in the other. And that's how we're going to do it. So I'm going to put the copper in first, since it's the more difficult one to have to work with right now. Let's put the copper in the head. And I did keep it translucent enough so that I can build it like that. And let's just go with about half its body. Okay, that's the furthest I dare to go on building it. And with the copper, I don't know, let's try the gold. Let's try that, because they're both metallics. And let me take the cap off of this. And now this may take a little bit longer if I'm doing it this way, but and I may not have gotten it pigmented enough. I do see a lot of bubbles. And since I'm not from the UK, so I don't really know those things, I did find out that grams are the weight equivalent of milliliters, liquid equivalent. So grams are the dry, or like heavy, thick fluids. And milliliters are the liquid liquids. Sorry, I was trying to beat that copper getting molded into there, or melded in. And since this is just showing you what I've done, I am not worried about bubbles really being in the product. Okay, Of course, always wipe your tip. I think that's what I forgot to do with the other one. I was in a hurry when I was doing the last one. Okay, so that's the copper and the gold. So I'm going to put the copper and the gold together so I know they're already done and that those are together. Well, we could do the green and yellow together, I think. So let's do that. Let's do the green and yellow together. Yeah, I must have gotten just a little bit of a drop on this bottle and didn't get it cleaned off. So let me get it. That way I'm not touching it anymore and not spreading it. Okay. Now I think I'm just going to open the bottles instead of popping the caps right now. I'll have to take the cap off in order to get the lid off, but I'll set that down. Same thing with this one. Now this is yellow, this is green. Well, I think I'm going to do the larger caps in the yellow and green. Green cap. Boy, that's going to be fascinating, isn't it, everyone? Okay. Put some in this end here to get it going. Okay, looks like we got a fair amount of yellow in there. I'll have to coax it up into the legs and feet. And if you'll notice, I did leave them extremely translucent because I don't like layering. I'm not that patient. Not these days. I like to get things a little done and out of the way. Let's put a little bit more yellow in to push that green back just a little. All right, let's get these lids back on. Cap them back up. Get the yellow and green inks aside. Okay, so we've got the copper, the gold, the green, and the yellow. Now let's go with blue and silver. Always looks good together, doesn't it, everyone? So let me find the blue. There it is. I'll have to remember to mark sapphire off of here because it was going to be a mix. So let me get the blue out of the way. And the silver. Oh, well, I'm just knocking things over. Good thing they're all closed. And the silver. Alright, so these filled in nicely. Bubbles are rising. I will pop the surface bubbles. Alright, so blue is in my right hand and silver in my left. So let's get these caps off, or the lids off, excuse me. And in case you're wondering, what I'm referring to is this part is a lid. It goes on the bottle. This part is a cap, and it caps off whatever inside. Now, if it's just a plain lid, then the lid is the cap as well. Isn't that confusing? Okay, let's give this guy here a silver head and a blue bottom. And yes, I am using up an awful lot of the colored UV resin. And all total, I ended up using just slightly under 300 mil, so 30 gram, or 300 gram. Wow. Isn't it confusing trying to do another country's measurements? Okay, let's get some more blue in there, some more silver. Let it knead up. Just like that. That was fascinating. And if I'm creating a shadow, I'm really, really sorry about that. But my lighting is terrible. Whoops. I think I went a little overboard with that one. But that's alright too. As long as you remember that when you're doing this, if you're pouring from there, please wipe this part off. And at this point in time, I'm not too interested in better lighting for me. Because, you know, it's still up in the air of what's going to happen with my eyes. So, you know, no sense in putting money out that you don't have for no reason. I'm a big stickler on that. Okay, yeah. This one ended up dipping into the cat foot. Yep. So that's alright. I just wipe it off. get its lid. You know, I know a lot of people get frustrated with lighting. And then a lot of other people will sit there and tell you, ooh, you should have these lights and that lights. Because that's what they have. Well, you know, we all do our thing, right? So, oh my goodness, I've got 3 colors left. 4 colors? Purple, red, black, and the deep white. Yep, I've got 4 left. I forgot to do that as a 3. So, I have to put 4 in this last one. That's okay. I will do it. 1 second while I grab a sip of water, because boy, am I thirsty. Yes, Timu 40-ounce mug, tumbler, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So with this, I'm going to have to take caps off and use it that way. So let's give the little guy some purple paint. Oh, yep, it's still coming out pinkish. I don't like that. And yes, I am sticking that down in there, the tip. Yes, it did create some bubbles. At least when it's done curing, we can figure out the true color. Get that top bubble there. Alright, let's get this wiped off. Capped. Now, down in the comments, please let me know if you see these things or not. If the lighting's too bad for you, let me know, and I will try again readjusting what lighting I have. Okay, in order to tell the red from the purple, we are going to want to let's make his head red. And before it gets completely start to spread out, I will throw in either the white or the black. Okay. I'm going to leave that one open for a moment because I'm going to start putting some black in to stop the purple from spreading a little bit. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and take the cap off of that, or the lid. Pour a bunch in. I could have made it a little bit darker, but I think that's going to be fine for me. And now I'm putting the white in the tail. Hope I can get my fingers to cooperate. And of course the black started creeping up. So I'll have that proverbial gray area, which is okay. Remember, test subjects. Okay, that looks just wrong, doesn't it? That really looks just wrong where that white's at. But okay. Now they're not all totally full because, well, it was a lot of resin. So I'm going to go ahead and close this off. Cap off the other 2. And now I'm going to grab out that wonderful little UV light. And I will be right back. I will pause you because I know that light is highly annoying. I don't look at them anymore because, well, I found that it can actually damage your eyes. So you need UV protective glasses when using them. And I really should have thought of that a long time ago because, well, I had enough UV in my eyes when I looked at a solar eclipse. And I kept my sight, luckily, but I've had problems with it ever since. And it could possibly be the reason why I am now having these issues with my cataracts and everything, because I'm using UV lights now. And I have been for the last year. Almost. No, last year. Alright, I'll be right back as soon as this is cured. Alright, I wanted to touch base with you. Under here is my UV lamp. UV light is, like I was saying, very dangerous. And yes, I started a bad thing with my eyes back in 2017 of August that year when we had a solar eclipse, and I stepped outside to see how close the moon was to the sun, and I screwed up royally. Well, I think that may have been a contributor to what I'm suffering now, so please don't watch solar eclipses. Yeah, they're pretty cool, but not if you go blind doing it. Wear protection using your UV lamps. When you use a flashlight type, keep your eyes averted as much as you can. All right, I'm going to put you on pause and finish curing. All right, everybody. This was under the front side for 6 minutes, this side for a minute and a half. So let's go ahead and begin unmolding them. I do have to do one thing, though. Things get a little slippery, so I kind of dampen my fingers just a little bit, just to help. And looky there. Yep, all cured. Huh, I got a hair in him. Well, wasn't that nice? I guess the cat likes cat fur. Okay, let's get this one out. Now remember, this is the red at the top of the head. And we got the purple down here, and the black here, and the white here. Now the white did pretty well, but the black does need to get a little bit darker. And then, of course, silver at the top, blue on the bottom, and green and yellow. Let's see if I can find something a little bit different colored. Here, let's just put it on this. Well, that's not going to help too well, is it? Okay, yeah, I can barely see them myself. Okay, let's just bring it up to the camera and show you all of that. Look at that, there's cat fur on the... Oh, boy, I have fur everywhere in my house. But, yeah, can't see it very well. I need a black background, and I can't find my mouse pad. And my mouse pad is black, and I'm having difficulties finding it. So I guess I'll try with this. Alright, this, by the way, is my thermometer for seeing how hot or cold it is in here. Yeah, can't see it that well on that either. So they really definitely need to be a little bit darker pigmented. So I'll have to do that the next time around. Can't see that one very well either. Oops, thought I had its tail. Well, maybe that helps a little bit better in the light. Just to show it around that way. Oops, not too much glare. It's definitely a cute cat mold. And I do like this silver being done. It is sparkly. Alright, well, that was that. So yes, you can go a little bit darker than what I did. And just remember that if you get a little too dark, you can either add more UV resin or make sure your layers are really thin. Okay, thank you all for watching. I appreciate it very much. Well, that was an adventure in things. Now, I've made mine before, but I did it with regular inks. And they came out a lot better. Alcohol inks, they're not as highly pigmented. But the more alcohol you use in UV resin, that's where you start running into problems. So, there's where the push comes to shove type of idea goes. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Hit the thumbs up button if you liked this video, or learned anything from it, or got a good laugh even. Thank you to all my subscribers. All you new ones, you guys are awesome. You're rocking it for me. Thank you. I so appreciate it. Comment below, please. I really do enjoy reaching out to everybody and everybody reaching out to me. It's a good conversation going once in a while. Okay? And, of course, share. Peace out, people.